Hi, random guy here. Um, so there's this post that I just stumbled upon yesterday in the internet, in the Twitter space, where there's this one renowned YouTuber in the gacha sphere named Mr. Pokey said something along the lines of Zenless Zone Zero. Combat is a lot better than Wuthering Waves. Now, I mean, of course, it's a rage baiting post, and I think we should not heed it as like a serious thing, but it does have an interesting. It is an interesting statement because I think, in a way, he is kind of right, but not for the what is it? Not for the things for the reason that you might think about. It's just I'm I'm thinking that Wuthering Waves has more better mechanic in combat, but in anything else, it's kind of lacking. Zenless Zone Zero, sure, it is very much a simple game that you had just timing things right, but it feels good to play Zenless Zone Zero more, not because that it is mechanically deeper, but because it is good to listen to. I think the audio design is a very much a crucial thing in Zenless Zone Zero on what makes it more fun to play rather than Wuthering Waves, and I think that's what Wuthering Waves is really lacking. Like for example, okay, this is like the example of what Zenless Zone Zero sounds like. Like you can tell, you can tell that it has a little bit of impact, like a little bit of oomph, you know, like the slashes, every slashes, it just felt like shing shing, you know, like it just feels nice to hear. It just feels nice to listen to. Now let's listen to what Wuthering Wave sound effects sounds like. One thing where it's a little bit lacking in that department is that the audio design in this department is just it needs a little bit of a lot of amplify, it needs a lot of amplification, like oomph, it just feels like we're just hearing it. Sorry, we just hear that the hit is being hit. There's nothing special to it, and I think they know that, so they kind of compensate it with how flashy the visuals are. And I think that's like, I mean, as I said in the video before, or as I said before, is that Wuthering Waves, I appreciate the good combat of Wuthering Waves because they really love spectacle more than the auditory experience, I think. It's really lacking. Like the sound effects is really lacking. But the visual effects is really flashy, is really out there to the point that it's kind of distraction. It's kind of like a distracting, you know. And I honestly I don't like that a lot. Like I played a lot of that, and what is it like the roguelike mode in Wuthering Waves, and most of the time I just can't see shit. I couldn't see anything, and that really hampers my experience down because like man, I want to see what's happening and I cannot see it. And here's the thing too, there's no audio cue, or barely any audio cue, and I think that's also like both like Wuthering Waves and Zone Zero really lacking about is that the audio cue of like incoming attacks is just not really apparent, and that really really is a detriment to me, a guy who doesn't have any good equipment because well it just kind of felt like it's a um it felt like I'm playing like with a lot of disabilities, and I think that that's what really also needs to be considered because like I think um accessibilities it really important in video games, especially nowadays. So that kind of like in lacking of hearing and in lacking of visuals and whatever, you gotta have to compensate with one another. And I think that the audio cues and also the visual cues are really important. And when in Wuthering Waves, the visual cues and the audio cues is just not there. And also with with Zenless Zone Zero as well. Um, the audio cues and the visual cues are just not there sometimes, and it just really kind of deep in the background or whatever. I mean, if you play like a lot of it already, you probably don't need all of that because you're already kind of being familiar with all of that stuff. But for a guy who probably like who just kind of want to use half of my brain instead of like full, or even like a quarter of my brain, um, every once in a lifetime, every once in a while, um, I think that that kind of that those aspects, which is like the SFX and also the audio effects, really sorry, the visual effects and also the audio effects really needs to be balanced, so everyone can absolutely know what's going on while they're still getting the spectacle that they needed. And I think that ZZZ has that in the auditory experience, but um, Wuthering Waves has that in the visual experience of it. So yeah, and I think that and I hope that Wuthering Waves can actually like can fix that and just make like the audio just makes it more impactful instead of just like it's just um hi, future me here. I forgot one more thing to add, like in this whole discussion. I think that this is like the most important part of things is that it's okay to love both games. I think Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves are two different games that plays completely differently. I mean, they look similar, they play similar, and they are in a similar genre, but I think they play like a little bit too different to be able to compare. If anything, probably I would love to compare this to like fighting games because that's like what I can think about right now. So Wuthering Waves is more like a Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Zenless Zone Zero is more of like a Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Marvel 3, let's just show it now, like Marvel 2 and Marvel 3. Um, why do I give them that comparison? Because Wuthering Waves is more of a team composition game, and Marvel 2 is a team composition game. You can, like, the character, the roster there is a little bit shitty, most of them, and only like a bunch of or a handful of them can be really viable on their own, and everyone else basically they need like a bunch of other cast or other characters to assist them, and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then there's also Zenless Zone Zero, right? Which is Marvel 3 of the game. Like the cast of characters in Marvel 3, they're not bad. They're all decent and all. But the problem is, there are just characters that's just better on doing things the same thing as like the other character, and that's where the problem is. But again, that's like another discussion for another day. All I'm saying is that it's a matter of preference of which game that you like to play, or which game that you are into. If you like both games, it's okay. It's fine. Don't let this tribalism of gotchiness is it's getting to you. Play whatever you like. Play however you like, and don't shame people who play worse than you or who play like clueless. Don't do that. Okay, let's not make a gotcha game to be like the most elitist shit ever, because like man, that's like the most pathetic shit ever. Yeah, that's all I want to say. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about this video. This is kind of like an addendum, and I don't know. This is like kind of interesting. I mean, Mr. Pokey clearly he's a bait, he is rage baiting and all that, but it's interesting because like it's not, it's not like he is wrong, but at the same time like you kind of misleading people a little bit here, and again, it's kind of obvious that he is rage baiting and all that kind of stuff. He's playing devil's advocate right now, and I love that guy. It's just interesting to see how it goes. I hope he's not doing anything stupid. It's not like I've never seen that before, or whatever. Anyways, um, talking. Oh yeah, well, I just want to say talk. I just want to say thank you very much about the previous video that I had. I know that I'm probably not gonna post much here. I'm just gonna say that out right away because like I have a really shitty computer, and I really have a shitty equipment and all kind of stuff. So I'm not really confident to record more videos or even like live stream or whatever. I don't really do that. I don't want to do that until I got like a better one. Which probably like in a long time, in a very long time. I'm not in a really good condition or in a really good situation right now. But thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the advices and all that kind of stuff. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the interactions and all that kind of stuff. And again, like thank you for likes. I hope you like this video and like the previous video too. If you really love the message or whatever, or you agree with me in some ways. But um, I mean, a lot of people probably have like a lot of misconception that how do people make an F2P game and yet still making money? Um, well, again, PSO2 was an absolute blueprint or like an absolute like, example of how to make a F2P game work with. I mean, it doesn't have to be like. All I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be a gotcha game. It can be just be like an action game with a gotcha game on the side. But here's the thing: emphasis on the side, right? It doesn't need to be like the gotcha game through and through. You can just put an action game. You can just like make an action game and yet put the gotcha game on the side. And that's how it worked for and worked for PSO2. So yeah, I think I'm not saying that you should learn or you should be PSO2. No, I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that the notion or the idea of what made it work is there. And I'm just kind of pointing out that, it's a blueprint. That's why I said it's a PSO2 is a blueprint, not like, the carbon copy or whatever. You shouldn't do that. And I believe that these gacha companies have the ability to do so because well, I mean, we've seen Wuthering Waves. One guy already said like it's game first and gotcha last and gotcha second, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm agreeing with that, but at the same time, um, it's kind of a bummer because they still put in the gotcha mechanics in it, and it shouldn't be a thing. It really shouldn't be. It should just be like a P2 free to play game with gotcha things on the side. But well, um, it's just unfortunate, you know. And I hope that they make another game. I'm just saying, like I hope they're making another game that is not like this. Um, and honestly, now if they make another game like that, and they just like make a gotcha game as the side thing, and not like making like a gotcha game like a true gotcha game, I will play the fuck out of it. I will play it to the oblivion. I will absolutely, and it plays like Wuthering Waves now. Oh hell yeah, I will play it. So yeah, I guess that's that. I guess that's that. Sorry for yapping for too long here. Um, anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you. Appreciate all the engagement, all the comments and the likes and whatever. And have a good one. Bye bye. Bye bye.